10-Minute Jazz Lesson Podcast, episode 493. Hey everybody, welcome back to part 4 in our series on the altered sound. And now it's time to practice. So if you haven't checked out parts 1, 2, and 3 in this series, I do recommend going and checking those out because this is the kind of the culmination of all the things that we worked on over there. And another thing that I always mention here is that there's always a video version of this podcast on my YouTube channel. If you just go on YouTube and search for my name, Nick Maynella, it'll be the latest video on that channel. If you want to see any of the examples that I'm talking about on the screen and get a fuller picture, feel free to do that. And just a reminder that everything that we talk about today is available in PDF form with all the trading tracks that we're going to go over. And you can find out where to get those in the description below this video by supporting the channel with a small monthly donation. All right, so let's get into it. So we've been talking about how we use the altered sound to create tension and release. And what we're going to do today is we're going to use two of the most common jazz forms to actually practice getting that stuff into the tunes and actually using altered in your solos. So we're going to start with the trusty old B-flat blues. And what we're going to do is we're going to insert altered everywhere we possibly can. Now, a quick note before we dive into this. You have to remember that in real life, you probably don't want to hammer that altered sound every single chorus in every single place that you could. That would probably be very unmusical, and it would probably go against actually the way that you want your solo to sound. But remember, what we're trying to do right now is practice altered. So we are trying to hammer it because we're trying to get it into our ears, underneath our fingers, all that good stuff. So you're going to notice I'm just using it everywhere possible, but don't think this is going to be the most musical thing in the world. All right, so let's investigate the 4 places that we can use the altered sound over the blues. So the first place is bar 4 going into bar 5. The 1 chord in bar 4 is a really great place to create tension going into bar 5. So it ceases to be a 1 chord and it's a 5 of 4. Amazing place to create tension. So what you'll notice is in bar 4, I've replaced the B-flat 7 chord symbol with B melodic minor because that is the way that we're going to access that altered sound. So basically what we're doing is we're turning that chord into an altered chord. So creating tension there to get us into bar 5. Our second place is going to be bar 8, where typically over a B-flat blues, we would see like a G7 flat 9 chord that would push us into the 2 chord, 5 of 2, or the 6 chord, as a lot of people will call it shorthand. So if we have a G7 flat 9 concert there, we want to think about A flat melodic minor. And again, that G7 chord just becomes G7 alt, basically. So if I start in bar 5, it's a really nice tension-filled sound to get us into that 2 chord. Okay, so then starting in bar 9, obviously we have the 2, 5, 1, so we can use our melodic minor sound over the 5 chord. So what would have been an F7, we're going to think F sharp melodic minor concert pitch. Then we're going to resolve that, and then in the last bar, we're going to use it again to push ourselves back into the top, to create some tension coming out of the chorus and going back into the top of the next chorus. So if we play the 2-5 with the alt chord, so there you go, 4 opportunities for us to practice and refine our use of that altered sound. Let me play the whole chorus with those alt chords in there. Okay, so that's it. All that's left to do is to practice this. Now, what I've provided for everybody this week is a bunch of trading tracks. So I've got some tracks where we'll trade choruses, 12 bars apiece, and then I've got another track where we're going to trade fours. So if you've got your instrument, let's do a couple times through of the trading choruses and see if we can get some of this stuff in here. The track I'm providing for the channel supporters is going to be much, much longer, and you'll also get a sheet in your key so that you don't have to do the transposition on the spot. But how about we do 4 choruses of trading? Okay, so there's the blues. Now, there's tons of jazz standards that we could have used for this. I chose There Will Never Be Another You because I think there's a lot of really great opportunities, again, to use the altered sound in this tune. There's lots of long 2-5-1s in both major and minor, so it's a perfect place to start to put this sound into action. So if we look at the sheet, I am using altered in bar 4. I'm also using altered in bar 8, and then I have one other opportunity in the first half where I'm using it in bar 16. Now, I think about There Will Never Be Another You as kind of A, B, A, C. So in the second half of the tune, we get all the same opportunities to use our altered sound in bar 20, bar 24, and then in the C section, I'm going to use it in bar 31. That's pushing into the end of the tune. So again, what I've done on the worksheet is I've written the actual melodic minor scale that you're going to derive your sounds from as a shortcut. I really like doing this. So if I'm working on something like alt, I'm going to take a sheet in my notebook and I'm going to write my own changes, my own chord substitutions, if you will, that are going to help me to get the sound that I'm after out in my playing. So again, if we go over, let's go over the first 16 bars so you can hear sort of the alt chord on the 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Hear that? Hear how nice the alt chords sound there? They just add that nice, beautiful tension. And again, now the only thing to do is to practice it, to get those reps in. So I've done a couple of things on this tune for everybody that's getting the materials. I've done one trading track where I take the first 8 bars and you take the second 8. And we go back and forth. And then I've provided another one where we reverse that equation. So now you get all of the portions of the tune that you weren't getting. Now, there's more of an opportunity to use the altered sound in the first 8 bars. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to play a couple choruses of the track where you go first and we trade 8s. So if you've got your instrument, let's play together. Alright, so there you have it. Now all that's left, you have all the information that you need through this series on how to sort of harness the power of the altered sound. Bunch of interesting ways to think about it. Now you just got to practice it and turn it into a part of your playing, a thing that you can access in the moment. And really that just comes down to familiarity. There's not some magic bullet. You just need to put more time in than anybody else. And eventually you will really, really be able to access this sound whenever you want to. So do it on these 2 tunes and then do it on 100 other tunes, and people will be marveling at all the hip stuff you're playing with the altered sound. All right, so if you want all the worksheets, all the backing tracks, again, check out that link in the description. I'll probably have it in a pinned comment as well. Once you sign up, that membership is free, by the way, and you get into the community, you'll see instructions on how to get signed up to become a supporter and get all of these materials in return. All right, everybody, hope you're doing well out there. We'll see you soon. As always, thanks for hanging. Bye.